This your boy Hoghead, What the Hate is Real podcast. Now today we're going to be talking about ex-Clayton County Sheriff in Georgia, I think it is the city of Atlanta, Sheriff Victor Hill.
Straight goofy.
Sucky, man. We got the soup on this guy. Man, this guy was sitting over here doing the minorities, doing black people bad.
Damn.
You know what I mean? When they go to jail, man, starving them, treating them like crap. Hey, but you know what? Let's get into it.
Like, subscribe, comment,
hit that like button.
In Atlanta has sentenced former Clayton County Sheriff Victor Hill to prison time. This comes after a jury convicted Hill in October on 6 counts of violating the constitutional rights of detainees inside the jail.
Now this black on black
crime. Has
crime.
covered this case since the beginning. She is live outside the federal courthouse with reaction to what has been a high-profile case. Claire.
Yeah, good afternoon, Christine. I sat next to one of the victims in the courtroom as the judge handed down Hill's sentence, and he cheered, although he later expressed disappointment that the former sheriff never apologized in any way for his actions.
What were you doing in Clayton County that day?
It's a democracy, sir. It's the United States.
No, it's not in my county.
That was
like he
video
owned a
used
city.
in the federal trial of former Clayton County Sheriff Victor Hill. Now, the man once tasked with upholding the law will go to prison for breaking it.
He thought he was bigger than the
U.S. District
system.
Court Judge Eleanor Ross sentenced Hill to 18 months in federal prison, plus 6 years of supervised release. 1 year for each of the victims whose rights a jury found Hill guilty of violating. During the sentencing, 4 character witnesses
they thump
spoke
him on his
Hill's
neck soon
behalf,
he get there.
including interim sheriff LaVon Allen. Each one of them talked about Hill's positive work out in the community. But prosecutors argued Hill's conduct inside the jail was an affront to our criminal justice system,
they say he
and
was
that
flogging.
he tortured people by ordering them held in restraint chairs. Judge Ross told everyone in the courtroom that she truly struggled with this
Fuck
case.
struggling.
and
Put his
reminded
ass in a
the
restraint
public that
chair.
She was not here to punish Victor Hill for everything he's ever done or ever been accused of. Though before announcing Hill's sentence, she had some choice words for the former sheriff. As much as you love the law, your love of power overcame that, Ross told Hill. More than once, Judge Ross brought up Hill's arrogance and said she prays he will sit down for a moment and think about everything. In a video statement, Assistant Special Agent in Charge Chris McRae with the FBI Atlanta says everyone pays a price when law enforcement officials abuse their power.
The sentencing today should send a strong message to any law enforcement officer who wants to follow their own version of the law. As I said back at the indictment of the ex-Sheriff Victor Hill, badges and guns don't come with the authority to ignore the Constitution. They come with the responsibility to protect it.
Just before learning his sentence, Sheriff Hill told Judge Ross his intent was never to hurt anybody. Hill's defense attorney, Drew Findling, says they will appeal and called the Justice Department's prosecution of the former sheriff selective.
The fact that he's been singled out to us still remains somewhat of a disgrace, and it also remains a disgrace when you look at what's happening at our own U.S. penitentiary. So take your cameras down to the U.S. penitentiary and see how people are living in their own feces, see how rats are in there, see how people are shanking one another, which didn't take place at the Clayton County Jail under the leadership of Victor Hill.
Hill's defense team asked Judge Ross to recommend that he be sent to a minimum security camp because they are concerned about his safety and that he might be a target as a former law enforcement officer. There's no word exactly on when Hill may have to report to prison.
Now see, he started tripping. He started flogging the police station, you know, being an officer for the United States government, you know. I don't know what he was thinking. Putting, you know, people in restraint chairs, and he was torturing them. Instead of being their help, he was torturing them. So I just don't understand what he was getting out of it. It seemed like he was coming to work. He was coming to work with like a hard on. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. And then he taking pictures with celebrities, all in a picture with Shaq. They said Shaq used to be a sheriff, or if he still is one, in the picture with Ric Flair. He doing too much, you feel me? He let that power get to his head. And then they got him on camera. They got him on camera saying that BS. And he telling another black man that. So out of all 6 people, 1 was white and the rest of them was black. But you know what? There are more victims out there. So he get 18 months for going in the feds. He should have got more time for that, because you know what? People probably got locked up and went to the pen, got out. Probably was suffering for depression and injuries that he and his police department put them through. He was treating them like, like, yes, sir, master. You better listen to me, or you know what? Master gonna do this, you feel me?
Sheriff Victor Hill was on hand when a Clayton County man named Desmond Bailey was arrested for illegal firearms and drugs in February 2020, according to testimony. When he got to the Clayton County Jail, Bailey told jurors Hill appeared in a holding area, asking questions. Bailey says he told Hill he wanted an attorney. He told jurors Hill responded, he said, "You think you're bad? You think you're a gangster? Put his behind in the chair." Bailey told the jury he was restrained and handcuffed in the chair for 6 straight hours. Bailey said, "It was horrible. You can't move. My whole body was numb." He said he and another similarly restrained man, we were screaming, yelling, trying to get the staff's attention. We're hurt. We're bleeding. Prosecutors showed jurors pictures of gashes on Bailey's wrists from the handcuffs. Prosecutors pointed out that Bailey has been jailed more than a half-dozen times over his life, hoping to harm the credibility of witnesses against Sheriff
Hill pled not guilty to serious federal charges. Hill is being accused of mistreating detainees at the county jail. CBS 46's Sierra Cummings live tonight at the federal courthouse in Sierra. You spoke with a former prosecutor who says this comes down to proving the chairs were used for punishment or protection.
Yeah, that's right, because Clayton County policy, even the state's policy only authorizes the use of those chairs for safety measures, like if an offender is unruly or violent. Investigators say at least 4 times last year that was not the case. Moments after Sheriff Victor Hill's release on a $50,000 bond, his attorney called the allegations disgraceful.
We know of all these incidents, and let me assure you, our due diligence, thorough investigation indicated there was no injury in any of these instances.
Federal indictments indicate otherwise. 4 inmates claim they had bodily harm after Hill strapped them into restraint chairs for several hours in Clayton County Jail. CBS 46 has previously investigated the impact of alleged misuse before in other counties and other agencies. In 2018, a Polk County detainee claimed he was repeatedly tased while in the chair. And in 2010, a Coweta County inmate died after being tied to the restraint for nearly 14 hours.
Badges and guns don't come with the authority to ignore the Constitution.
Clayton County's policy and even the Department of Georgia Corrections outline that chairs shall only be used in the case of unruly or violent offenders in accordance with the 14th Amendment.
So that's one issue that you have essentially teed up, that the chair, by design, if used too long, can create bodily injury.
Former civil rights federal prosecutor Brett Williams argues this case rests on whether investigators can prove the use of the device was punishment or protection. Although lawyers suggest the sheriff's case may be an uphill battle.
Civil rights violations are difficult to prove.
Federal agents believe their evidence is overwhelming.
It's a democracy, sir. It's the United States.
No, it's not in my county.
All new tonight at 6, we have obtained the video that prompted a federal jury to convict former Clayton County Sheriff Victor Hill. This comes just days before Hill is set to be sentenced in federal court.
As our Caitlin Ross reports, the video was secretly recorded inside the sheriff's office and used by federal authorities during his trial, and she has the exclusive details tonight.
Hill is about to be sentenced on 6 counts of violating the rights of prisoners inside the Clayton County Jail. The video is 6 minutes long and shows the former sheriff's face as he orders deputies to strap a man down in a restraint chair just minutes after he was arrested. We've blurred that man's face because he's not charged with a crime.
Turn around.
The room gets quiet as former Clayton County Sheriff Victor Hill walks into a holding cell to confront a prisoner.
What were you doing in Clayton County that day?
It's a democracy, sir. It's the United States.
No, it's not in my county.
The video shows the man handcuffed and complying with deputies' orders, calling the sheriff sir as he asks about his rights.
Am I entitled to a fair and speedy trial?
Roll that chair around me. Roll that chair around me. You stay out of Clayton County. You understand me?
Yes, sir.
You sound like a dummy.
Clayton County jail policy allows the use of a restraint chair only when the prisoner is a threat to themselves or others. But former prisoners testified that Victor Hill commanded that they sat in the chair for up to 10 hours. While Hill claims he's not guilty, this video shows him order the inmate to be strapped into the chair.
Sir, I'm asking you a third time.
You ain't gonna ask me, Jack. You gonna sit in this
Am I
chair.
entitled to a free and speedy trial?
You entitled to sit in this chair, and you entitled to get the hell out of my county and don't come back. That's what you entitled to. You sound like a damn Jack.
7 former inmates testified against Hill, telling the jury they were scared, in pain, and forced to urinate on themselves because they were not allowed to use the bathroom. The jury ultimately found Hill guilty of violating 6 inmates' rights, including this man who testified at trial.
Now sit there and see if you can get some damn sense in your head.
So to be honest with you, it seemed like Clayton County in Georgia, in Atlanta, Georgia to be exact, the sheriff there, Victor Hall, he had bipolar. So basically, he went bipolar on all the inmates that came in. They didn't have to do nothing wrong. The only thing they had to do was just look at him wrong and act like they know about the law. Hey, they was finna get thrown in that chair for a whole shift. Hey, but this your boy Hog here with the Hate Is Real podcast. Get it, your boy.
Hey, this your boy Hog here with the Hate Is Real podcast. Now let's get into this shit right here. Yeah.